Am I the asshole for telling off a customer at work for her autistic son stim? I, 23F, work at a grocery store as a cashier. Over the summer I was temporarily located to the garden department in the parking lot, which I've been doing every year for 3-ish years. We have a regular whose son, 6'8", has autism. Apparently one of his stims is spraying bottles. Like the cleaning kind. I didn't know this until this incident. Our setup for the garden area till is kind of a U or C shape. We have a cart with the till so it can be taken inside overnight, and 2 tables bolted together. One table has a shelf underneath where we keep various paper towels and cleaning stuff, including a bottle of diluted bleach, as well as bags for customers buying non-plant items, pots that customers have brought back for recycling, garden gloves for the employees, etc. Around the whole thing is a table skirt that's attached to the table. I really have no say in the setup beyond moving things around on the shelf. Anyway, one day this mom brought her kid in. I saw him trying to reach around the table legs to the cleaning supplies, so I moved them down the shelf closer to me and told him those bottles are for cleaning, not for touching, and asked him to please leave them alone. Then I got started scanning his mom's stuff. Out of nowhere, a bunch of droplets hit my sunglasses and cheeks. I looked up and the kid had pulled the table skirt, which was zip-tied tightly to the table, away, stuck his arm through, grabbed the bottle of bleach, and started spraying it around. I quickly grabbed it from him as his mom laughed and reminded me he's autistic and said he has a spray bottle of water at home that he likes to spray people with. This is where I might be ta. I told her that first off, she shouldn't be encouraging him to spray people with anything without their consent, and second, that wasn't water. It was bleach, and they were both lucky I was wearing sunglasses because I could have gone blind. She was really offended and again tried to tell me he was autistic. I said that may be an excuse for him to not realize, but she needs to be paying closer attention to her kid in public places if he's going to do stuff like that. She hasn't brought her kid in since. I feel bad because he was a nice kid and I don't know how much help she has at home, but I still feel like what I said was true. Am I the asshole for telling off the mom of an autistic child and prompting her to stop bringing him back? Not the asshole. If the stim was annoying you would be the asshole, but bleach in the face can cause blindness, skin burns, and at the very least destroy clothing. It can also ruin hair. If she can't control dangerous stimming, then she either needs CPS or an assistant. This isn't shaking a hand or bobbing their head. Stimming this is assault with a chemical agent. If you do see them again, suggest she get the assistance she needs. It's not easy raising spectrum kids, but that doesn't excuse what he did. Autistic mom of an autistic kiddo here. You are not the asshole. Stims serve an important purpose in our lives, but there are limits, and this is so far beyond what is acceptable and understandable. That mom is also not doing her child any favors by not educating him on when and where it's okay to spray bottles, i.e. only at home and or where you know for a fact that what's in it is safe, or one day it'll be his own eyes he sprays with bleach. Her son is a lawsuit waiting to happen. She should thank you for the reality check. Not the asshole. You put the blame squarely on her, which is where it should be. Not the asshole. At home, that's fine. Do whatever you want, it's your problem what your child does. In public though, people are allowed to get upset that your kid is spraying them regardless of the reason that they're doing it. Am I the asshole for not punishing my middle child for screaming at my eldest and kicking her out of the house? I have 3 children. Ava, 25F, Kendall, 16F, and Darren, 13M. Kendall was diagnosed with BPD late last year. She has extreme anxiety and somewhat of a short fuse. She is in therapy and, according to her, is talking to her therapist about what happened in this incident. My other 2 kids had the tendency to try to bait her and get her to freak out because they think it's funny. We've spoken to them several times, my son has been punished, etc. It got better with the diagnosis and I thought it finally gave my other 2 kids the push and realization that this isn't funny and typical sibling stuff. Ava moved out after college but lives nearby and will visit often. This week, the teenagers had a day off due to staff development. Kendall is the type to sleep in if she has nothing else going on. Both her siblings know this. I also know she got very little sleep the night before as she anticipated the day off. Anyway, I leave for work just as Ava is coming in. She didn't say she was stopping by, so it was a welcome surprise. I tell her Darren is playing video games, Kendall is sleeping. She said cool and went to join her brother. An hour later, I get a call from Ava and she's pissed. She says that Kendall screamed at her to get the fuck out of her house, and wouldn't stop until Ava actually left. I called Kendall. She told me that Ava and Darren came into her room, laughing, and shook her until she woke up, then left the room. She tried to go back to sleep but couldn't. Kendall was exhausted and had a rough week. She ran downstairs and asked what the hell was wrong with them. They kept laughing and told her to calm down. That's when Kendall screamed at Ava to get out of the house. I told Kendall while of course screaming isn't the best way, I understood why she did it and she wasn't in trouble. I texted Ava and said we'd speak that night, as I did have to work. I went home afterwards and grounded Darren, taking away his Xbox. He then tried to say it was unfair of Kendall to throw Ava out as he wanted her there. I asked why they would do this and they said they wanted Kendall to come to breakfast with them. I told him I didn't buy that and accused them of just trying to get a rise out of her. He finally owned up to it. I then went to Ava's. She said it was a little of both. They wanted to mess with her and thought she'd just get a little upset. She also did genuinely want to buy her breakfast. I said there were so many ways to go about the latter and the former is bull. Ava tried to say it's unfair that she and Darren can't treat her like normal siblings do, because she could fly off the handle. She pointed out that I always said my home was hers. I said yeah, but Kendall lives there and she has a right to feel safe. It's not like she tried to kick out Darren. My husband backs me up, but Darren and Ava are still pissed. Ava thinks it's fair for Darren to be punished and her to get a lecture but that Kendall shouldn't get off scot-free. Ava is 25 and still thinks it's funny to bully people? Let alone someone with a diagnosed disorder? You would think she would show some compassion to her sister who is going through a lot right now, but instead she'd rather bully and gaslight her. I think it's time to sit Darren and Ava down and set some serious boundaries. This is really disturbing behavior by Ava and she's teaching Darren that it's cool to be a bully and a jerk. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but I don't understand why you are allowing your children to essentially torture their sister. They gang up on her and try to make her explode and then laugh at her anguish. One is 25 and engaging in this behavior. That is not a child, you have raised an adult bully picking on a teenager. On top of that, the 25-year-old is showing a 13-year-old that it's okay treat someone like they are garbage and be a bully, in fact, that it's funny when they have a big reaction. I would not be surprised if your middle kid goes no contact when old enough. Not the asshole. I guess. But why do your children, especially a grown one, delight causing pain to another human? I find that disturbing. Not the asshole. Kendall is already in therapy. But it may be good to do family therapy too. Clearly the dynamics are not working well. A professional may be able to heal communication within the family and provide some guidance. Good luck. Not the asshole. Also, in what world does a 25-year-old woman do something like that to a 16-year-old? I would seriously have a long discussion with your eldest child because clearly something is very wrong if she thinks that was the right way to do that in any way, shape or form. Am I the asshole for telling my brother I won't be the best man at his wedding? My brother and I have never liked each other. We had a huge fight 3 years ago where I came out as gay and he was angry about it. Said our deceased dad would be disappointed in me. I told him that he's got some nerve because all he does is ruin people's lives and get women pregnant. After the fight we both vowed to never speak to each other again. Out of the blue yesterday I get a call from him asking me to be the best man at his wedding. His closest friend passed away last year, so my mom feels it's only right for me to step in as his best man since I'm his only brother. On the phone he said, "Let's let bygones be bygones, I need you." This didn't move me at all because he hasn't called me once in 3 years to make amends. Why would I go out of my way to do that? I don't even know his fiancé or kids. I declined and now my whole family is upset with me. Everyone's calling me selfish, saying I need to be the bigger person. It would be very uncomfortable for me to go through this whole wedding process with people I basically don't know. Am I wrong for this? Why do I imagine OP's brother thinking, well, I tried. Now the family can be mad at OP instead of me. So glad OP refused. I shudder to think of OP being at my wedding as best man. Not the asshole. The fact that he called you after you both vowed never to speak again after his best friend died. There wasn't anyone else who would step up for him. Not a single friend who would be honored. Yeah, that says a lot. I'm sorry for his loss, but that doesn't mean that everything gets to automatically be forgiven between the two of you. Info though, if you don't mind my asking, what was the fight about and who instigated? Never mind. Found it in another reply. I came out as gay and he basically said I was disappointing our dad who's deceased. I told him that he's got some nerve because all he's done his whole life is ruin people's lives and get women pregnant, so that led to probably the biggest fight I'll ever have. Massive not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your whole family being upset with you certainly shows where he's gotten his sense of moral high ground bullshit from. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with this. Maybe he should ask himself why he doesn't have more than one friend suited for the role. Not the asshole. Ask him, and your family, this. Would he have reached out, and let bygones be bygones if he didn't need something from you? I doubt it. Regardless of who was at fault in the past, you still need to take care of yourself and your mental well-being. I cut off my emotionally abusive sister 2 years ago, and I guarantee she will never reach out to me on her own accord. But I know if I ever win the lottery or something, that night I will get a, "Hey, I miss you, can we fix things?" text, because she would want something from me. Am I the asshole for not doing anything, Hostess? Why, for my in-laws visit, given I'm 3 weeks postpartum? My husband's family lives on the other side of the country. We had our first child at the height of COVID, so my husband's parents, sister, and her family did not meet him in person until his first birthday. I just delivered our second 2 weeks ago, and my husband's family, 4 adults and 3 kids, asked if they could all visit during spring break to see the baby, which is the end of next week. I said okay. Although the 7 of them would be staying at an Airbnb, I know they will be spending all day every day at our home to see the kids. I told my husband to make sure they know we will be ordering in every meal, and beyond eggs and cereal and some drinks and snacks, i.e. chips and fruit, I wasn't planning to get much else. I'm also tired and up with the baby all night. I'm still trying to get breastfeeding established, and I'm exhausted at the very thought of 7 people being in my house every day for a week while I'm trying to nurse and rest and manage a toddler's big emotions around a new sibling. His response was, well, we are going to need X and X for my parents and X for the kids, and I was thinking one day I can make X. And he started describing needing to get the best bread and the best cheese, all of which involves trips to numerous places. He even said he was going to ask my dad, who occasionally buys us some specialty grocery stuff that I ask for and drops it off, to pick up a bunch of items for them. At this point, I got really mad. I said, I am not trying to go above and beyond here and play host when I'm 3 weeks postpartum. They can eat the stuff from the grocery store even if it's not the best and deal for 5 days. He told me I sound spiteful. I was also frustrated because when his family visits, my husband checks out and just plays with his nephews and chats for hours with his Bill, and I know I'm going to be the one setting out snacks, tidying up, etc. He seems more concerned with his family having fun, the visit being a good time, and with them being comfortable, than with me getting what I need. I feel like it doesn't matter what I ask for, he isn't going to have my back, so I have to protect myself and my own well-being. We got in a big fight about it. I yelled at him and am not really talking to him now. They show up next week, and I'm feeling a lot of anger and resentment about it. So, am I the asshole for not lifting a finger for my visitors? Not the asshole, OMG, they should be helping you. Relatives that visit during the 4th trimester are there to help or show themselves TF out. Anything you do beyond let them take care of everything they are capable of physically doing is supremely gracious. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Tell him division of labor is that you take care of the baby and he takes care of the house and guests. If he refuses, offer to switch. He can do all the feeding and changing and lose sleep nightly. No? Then he can take care of the house and guests. Not the asshole. If your husband wants to have his family entertained, then he has to entertain them. That means cooking for them, serving them, cleaning up after them. Not the asshole. You are 3 weeks post-delivery. I think it's nice of you to even let them visit right now, to be honest.